Welcome into week 5 of high school football, where we've got our biggest slate so far this season, with 9 games from our area coming your way. I'm Andrew Banstra, and this is the final drive. Let's get into it. We start with our game of the week. Milton is a perfect 4-0 and face their toughest test of the season tonight. In Monona Grove, a Silver Eagles squad whose only loss was at Waunakee by 1 point. We pick things up 14-13 Milton, leading and looking to add to that just before half, but Luke Schwab says not so fast. Monona Grove comes away with it, but in the second half, their quarterback, Milton's quarterback, Jake Cummins, decides he'd just do it himself. QB1 rolling around, trying to find something, and he just does it himself. Dives into the end zone for the score, but ultimately that Silver Eagle defense just kept standing tall when it mattered most, clawing away the win from the Redhawks in a close one. Monona Grove hands Milton their first loss of the year, winning it 36-29. But with so many good games going on tonight, we had to have a game of the night, too. And for that, we go to Nash Dara.
Andrew, the game of the night would take us to Waterloo High School, with the Pirates taking on the undefeated Cambridge Blue Jays. The Mosquitoes were out tonight, but that didn't stop anyone from heading out to the jungle. Cambridge would get on the board early in their first drive with a run up the gut from number 31, Owen Nels, to go up 6-0 right from the get-go. The Blue Jays would get the ball back after a quick 3-and-out, but oh no, Trevor Polster on a sweep would have the ball punched out of his hands, and it would be recovered by the Pirates. The Pirates, however, unable to do anything on offense tonight, but that wasn't the case for Owen Nels, who would be able to spin out of a tackle and take it all the way to the house for his second touchdown of the game. The Blue Jays would go on to get the dominant win over the Pirates, 36-0.
Nash, thank you. Now let's jump into Division I, where Verona didn't have the start to the season that they would have liked to, but they have to do things when it matters most, especially when it comes to that Big 8 undefeated streak. 23 games in a row for them in the Big 8. Luke Fickle in attendance to scout Ethan McIntosh's Wildcats, who traveled to La Follette, who came into this one with the same 2-2 record as Verona, looking to stomp that streak. First quarter, Verona vying for an early score, and Landon Lasan lays one out for Jackson Connor, and he comes away with it. 7-0 Wildcats early, but the Lancers weren't looking away. Next drive, and Sean Peeler peels off a long run. He could go all the way. Are you kidding me? Sean is gone, and La Follette gets the equalizer, but Verona just kept firing on all cylinders. The Wildcats were tied early, but they come away with the win. 54-21 Verona make it 24 straight in the Big 8. Waunakee is always one to watch out for, but this year you ought to watch even closer to the Warriors. They're not just undefeated, they're beating their opponents by an average of 30 points per game. Fort Atkinson, on the other hand, in search of their first win of the season, and what a better way to spark your season than a win here. But tonight that wasn't going to happen. Just catching the end of this play, but you get the point. Cole Kraus carries it to the end zone, make it 48-0 Waunakee early in the third, and later they'd add to it. Kraus hands to Rajan House, and yeah, that rhymes, but they don't care about the poetry. They care that they got the win, and they did that without a doubt. Warriors take it 56-0, the final score. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, nothing quite compares to a crosstown clash. The Battle of Sun Prairie has only been around for a few years, which in some ways makes it mean even more. East versus West, and while the Prairie Wolves are still looking for their first win, they'd give the Cardinals their best. But their best tonight could not stop Brady Kaufman, who would set the Cardinals' all-time rushing record with this huge touchdown on the ground, completely opening up this game. The Cardinals would take a commanding lead and would not give the Wolves a chance to come back. How about Van Wolger with the interception to silence a Sun Prairie West comeback? East takes the Battle of Sun Prairie 37-13, the final score. Last season, Edgewood won just 4 games, and the year before, they won just 3 games. This year, though, things seem to be different. It's week 5, and they've already won 4 games. They put their undefeated record on the line tonight against Portage this afternoon, I should say. And it was the Warriors who struck first drive of the game, and Alex Hartwig is headed to the house. Portage goes for two and pounces on an 8-0 lead, but the Crusaders came crashing back. Gannon Bagstead in the backfield. He's in his bag. QB1 keeps it for himself and takes it to the promised land. Make it 8-7 Portage. Still on top, though, and later Edgewood would take the lead, this time for good. Bagstead goes through the air and gets the job done, finding his man, Ben Morey, who you might want to guard. The Crusaders cruise to a 5-0 start. They take this one 28-16. Picking games of the week is an imperfect science. This game right here very easily could have been a game of the week. A Badger small battle between Mount Horeb and Stoughton. Two teams trying to stay within an arm's reach of Edgewood. A Viking on Viking battle in Stoughton where only one beard would come out on top. We pick things up in the fourth and Mount Horeb up big. They would add to it on this long drive. Brooks Hendrickson dumps it off to Hayden Anderson, who is a horse hounding his way to a first down, and later in the drive, Hendrickson finds his guy, Jack Wilson, who's just not going to be brought down because his phone's ringing, and Jack, let me tell you one thing about him, he's always going to answer the house call every day of the week. Wilson wills his way to the end zone, and at this point, MHB had it in the bag, but that wasn't going to stop Stoughton from making one of the plays of the night. How about Colton Kotlowski finding Jack Keese, who makes the over-the-shoulder snag? Are you serious, Jackson? But Mount Horeb, they wouldn't be denied. 44-13, the final score. Heading south for two more can't-miss games. Let's start in Beloit, where we had an absolute battle on our hands. Let's get right into it. How about those helmets for the Trojans? Straight into the fourth quarter we go, where Lake Mills wasn't going home with a loss. Jackson Roberts robs the Trojans of an opportunity, and he sets up his offense. How about Camden Tandy Habich says, how about you make it one more score? The L-Cats of Lake Mills take it handily, and they head back to Lake Mills with a 31-7 victory.